Olam chesed yibane, 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 I will build this world from love, and you must build this world from love, and if we build this world from love, then God will build this world from love.
Shabbat Shalom. It is so wonderful to be here tonight with everyone on this Friday night as the sun has gone down on this tumultuous week in our nation's life. Maybe the second tumultuous week in a row, maybe about the 8th tumultuous week in a row since we voted on election day. Perhaps the, what are we up to now? 46th tumultuous week in a row since we have begun to meet digitally rather than in person during this COVID-19 pandemic. But as the sun sets on this Shabbat evening and that day of rest comes in, those 25 hours of recharge, of unplugging from our news feeds and plugging into community, we gather, and we let go of the week that was, allow it to digest and settle within us, and we invite in the light of the possibility of that which is new, that which we bring in, that which we can build as Shabbat goes out tomorrow night and throughout this next week. Olam chesed yibaneh. We will build this world from love. And so as we light our Shabbat candles, we also turn to one another and say Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to Shelley and Jerry. Shabbat Shalom, Sharon and Stephen. And Shabbat Shalom to Eileen. And welcome home to your new home, perhaps? Coming in from New Jersey. Was this moving week? I can't wait to see the new digs. Shabbat Shalom to Beverly and Philip Sklover, or as I like to call them, Shabbat Shalom, Mom and Dad. And Shabbat Shalom to Dan from Dan and Susan, who are joining us from Ambler, and Shabbat Shalom to everyone who is coming in tonight as we introduce ourselves in the chat. And so we're going to begin tonight bringing in that light of Shabbat, exhaling the week that has been, and breathing in the promise, the possibility, the hope that this light we kindle has the potential to ignite for us in the week that is to come. And also the light of recharge as we enter into this sacred day of rest.
One Gabby's dollhouse that I never see. Mommy, come.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת. Yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai. Page 7. Yedid nefesh al harachaman mishoch avdecha el retzonecha yarutz avdecha kemo hayal yishtachaveh el mul hadarecha terav lo yedidutecha mino fetzuf vechol tam yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai. Last verse. Higalena ufros chavivi alai et sukat shelomecha ayir heret michvotecha nagila v'nismecha vach maher ahuv kiva mohed v'choneni ki me'olam yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, nai-nai, yada-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, yada-nai, nai-nai, yada-da-nai, yada-nai, 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 nai-nai, yada-nai. Page 13, we join with the voices of our Makela, our choir, for Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Milech
Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Elohim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, Tzeitzem Yeshua, Malachei Elyon, Malachei We turn together to page 25 for Psalm 96, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Hadash, Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz. Sing unto God a new song. Sing unto Adonai the whole entire world. In Psalm 96, it's not enough, perhaps, to sing to Adonai a new song, just each individual person in their own house. The psalmist calls upon Kol Haaretz, the entire world, to sing that song. There's something about the power of collective song. 2,000 plus years ago, when the author of the book of Psalms first penned these words, and today, not only collective song in terms of singing, raising our voices together, hearing those harmonies, whether mixed together after they're recorded individually, like our makelas they've been recording this year, not letting the pandemic stop them from making music and sharing it with our community, or tonight gathering together, logging in with our computer screens to harmonize with my voice, with one another's voices across space and geography, and maybe even time zones. I'm not sure if we have more than one time zone here tonight. If you're not in the Eastern time zone, shout it out and let us know. Not sure if we have any of our Israeli or Californian folks tonight. But also the power of raising up our voices, not as individuals, but as a community when it comes to raising up our voices for justice. This Monday, we mark Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday and our Martin Luther King Day of Service. We do not take this day as a day off, but rather as a day on. A day to raise up not only our voices, but the work of our hands, the power of our feet in activism, in action, in social justice. And we don't do it alone. We don't each decide that we are going to do a small act just to affect the world around us on any given day of the year, although certainly we can, and that's helpful. But on this Monday, whether through Or Hadash or around our city or around our entire country, we join our voices together, Kol Haaretz, against the forces and systems that are in place that keep people oppressed and in poverty. We raise up our voices together collectively against racial injustices. We raise up our voices collectively to repair our world and fight to preserve this planet that is our home in the midst of the vast galaxy around us, to stop the devastating effects of climate change. And we raise up our voices to raise awareness. And each individual person's voice is sweet and it is powerful. But when we sing that new song, Kol Haaretz, all together, we sing a new song in a way that we only can in that moment. Each time we raise up our voices together, we raise them up slightly differently than we did the time before. The harmonies blend differently. The work feels different. The energy shifts palpably because each individual person is there and because we work together to create a new whole that inspires, a new whole that moves the needle of progress and bends the arc of the universe just a little bit more towards justice, and a new whole that fuels our work as we move forward. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Hadash, Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz. We sing a new song to Adonai, page 25. Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Hadash. Shiru l'Adonai, Kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai, Baruch Hu Shemo. Baseru miyom le'yom Yeshuato. Shiru l'Adonai, Yeshuato. Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Hadash. Shiru l'Adonai, Kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai, Baruch Hu Shemo. Baseru miyom le'yom Yeshuato. Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Hadash. Shiru l'Adonai, Kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai, Baruch Hu Shemo. Baseru miyom le'yom Yeshuato. Baseru miyom le'yom Yeshuato. Baseru miyom le'yom Yeshuato. We turn together to page 37 for Psalm 29 as we rise. Mizmor LeDavid, Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu l'Adonai, Kavod v'aoz, Havu l'Adonai kevod shemo, Ishtachavu l'Adonai b'hadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod hirim. Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover harazim, Vaishaver Adonai et arzei halvanon, Yarkidem k'mo egel Lebanon, Besirion, Kemo vein re'emim, Kol Adonai chotzev v'hakodesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai cholel hayalot, Vayechesov Yeharot Uvehechalo Kulo Omer Kavod. Adonai Lama Buyashav Yeshev Adonai Melech Leolam, Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitein, Adonai Yevarech et Amo V'Shalom. Yai, 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 nai, nai. Yai, 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 yai. Yai, nai, yai, yai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, yai, yai, yai. We can be seated. And Shabbat Shalom to Adeline, Hazel, and Deb, and Shabbat Shalom to Jules and Ruth and Taco, and Shabbat Shalom to Vivian in Bluebell and to Rich. It is wonderful to be here tonight all together. If you haven't yet, take a second and introduce yourself in the chat as we do a little bit of Kabbalat Panim, welcoming one another's faces and our presences as we prepare to turn to page 41 for Lecha Dodi. Page 41. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabela. La 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 la. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekabela. Woo! Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene pene Shabbat nekabela, shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Hishmi'anu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem ultiferet v'litchila la 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 lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene pene Shabbat nekabela, woo, lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene pene Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila la 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 lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene pene Shabbat nekabela, woo, lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene pene Shabbat. Top of page 45, hitoreri, kiva orech kumi uri, shir daveri, kevod Adonai alayich nigla la 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 lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, woo, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Page 47, yamin usmol tifrotzi, v'et Adonai ta'ariti al yadi ish ben partzi, v'nismecha v'nagi la 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 lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, woo, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela la 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 lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat. We rise as we face the entrances to our homes and out the doorways towards the outside and also towards one another as we greet the Shabbat bride and greet our Shabbat community. Boi v'shalom atzeret bala, gam besimcha uvetzochola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, la 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 lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, la 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 lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. We turn to page 49 for Psalm 92, a psalm for Shabbat. Mizmor shir lehom ha-Shabbat, tov lehodot lahadonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatcha balelot, ale asur ve'ale navel, ale higayon bechinor, mizmor shir lehom ha-Shabbat, tov lehodot lahadonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, ki semachthani Adonai befoalecha, b'maaseh yadecha haranein, ma gadlu ma'asecha Adonai, me'od amku machshevotecha, mizmor shir leyom ha-Shabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, ulezamer leshimcha elyon. Page 51 at the asterisk. Tzadik katamar yifrach, keres balvanon yiske, shetulim beveit Adonai. Yeshenim vera'nanim yehiyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri below of latavo. On page 57, we turn to the Baruch Hu, and we also turn to our chat stream, and we turn to our number count, and we see that we are far more than the minyan that is required to say Baruch Hu, and that is an incredible thing. That every week of the, what are we up to now? It was something like 47 weeks of the pandemic so far. 46 weeks. Someone's going to have to number check me. We have had a minyan together on Friday nights and on Shabbat morning and all but one weekday morning in order to be able to say Baruch Hu, Kaddish, or read Torah, or any of those things that we need a minyan in order to do. That even though there are so many things that we have found the joy in and the beauty in and the ability to do in our homes by ourselves, that there are things, so many, many things within Jewish tradition and far beyond that we just need community for. And each and every one of the people who is here tonight and has been here on Friday nights or Saturday mornings or weekday mornings at Minyan Hadash or all of those other times is part of building that sacred community for things that we so desperately as human beings, as Jewish people and as citizens of this world just need other people in order to do. And that is so incredible. And so we rise together on page 57 for Baruch Hu in spirit or in body. And as we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. And the blessing gives us strength and makes our vision clear. And the blessing gives us peace and the courage to dare. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro mareh v'aravim b'chochma. Roll into dark, roll into night. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Umavir yom umevi laila, מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, אמרי ורבים. Page 63. אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם בלילה יומם בלילה, באהבתך לא תסור ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. Page 65, the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We continue silently with one of the two biblical selections that follows. Adonai Elohechem Emet. So we turn to page 77 at the bottom and page 79 for Mi Chamocha, our prayer, the words that we say in our day just as we imagine them being said and sung at the shores of the sea so many years ago, as our ancestors crossed over from slavery in Egypt to freedom, or at least to the unknown expanse that held promise in the wilderness. A song that connects us to liberation struggles across space and time. A song that calls up moments of trauma in our own history and spurs us to empathy and to action in all generations and across communal lines. On this weekend where we mark the birthday of the late Martin Luther King Jr. and do acts of justice in his name. A few quotes from Dr. King as a prelude to Mi Chamocha. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice. Darkness is only driven out with light, not by more darkness. Power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. Courage is the power of the mind to overcome fear. And as we turn to page 77 at the bottom and page 78 for Mi Chamocha, every man must decide whether he will walk in the light of creative altruism or in the darkness of destructive selfishness. Whether it is the words of Dr. King or the metaphor of Nachshon ben Aminadav at the shores of the sea, jumping in, spurring the seas to part, or the image of an officer leading a mob away from an unguarded, unbolted door to the Senate chamber, or whether it is an image of someone standing up in the midst of a crowded meeting to disrupt with a call for justice and action on climate change. Whatever that voice in the wilderness is that you hear in this moment, we hear it. And we stand up with all of that bravery in each and every one of those moments as we take our step into Mi Chamocha and commit to that long, long journey towards justice. Umalchuto beratzon kiblu alehem Moshe uMiriam uvnei Yisrael lechanu shira b'simcha rabba ve'ameru chulam Mi Chamocha, Mi Chamocha, Mi Chamocha, Mi Chamocha, Mi Chamocha, Mi Chamocha b'helim Adonai. Mi Kamocha, Mi Kamocha, Mi Kamocha, Mi Kamocha, Mi Kamocha, Mi Kamocha Nedar Bakodesh. Nora Tehilot Osefel. Nora Tehilot Osefel. Shira Chada, oh Malchutecha, Ravanecha Bokei Hayam, Lifnei Moshe Zeheli, Anu ve'ameru, Adonai Himloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai Himloch le'olam va'ed, V'nemar ki fad Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch ata Adonai Gal Yisrael. Page 81. A prayer for the return to sanity, sourced from Ritual Well. I just put the link in the chat for anyone who wants to read the words along with me. A prayer for the return of sanity by Suzanne Zaboransky. God of compassion, Blow away the smoke, put out the fires. Let your cleansing rains fall. Wash over us with peace. Remove the roots of racism and hatred. Till the earth with new beginnings and hope. Replace the spoiled with freshness. So much has befallen our world, one weight building upon another, until the foundation has cracked, until our supports have begun to crumble. We need you to hear our cries. We beseech you to hear our prayers. We are lost inside a nightmare and have forgotten how to wake ourselves. This is a time of mass insanity, a constellation of hardships and trials. We have strayed from your pathways and we fear that you have forsaken us. We are lost as we never have been before. We have survived wandering the desert. We searched until we found the promised land, but now we are destroying all that you have built. We need your help and your mercy now to show us how to correct our course. We need to find our way back to you so that this world can become Eden once again. Lift us, awaken us, care for us, open our eyes, ears, and hearts. Stop the pain, frustration, and smoldering anger, and we will endeavor to be who you meant us to be. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Protect us from harm and protect us from the harm that we do to ourselves, to others, and this world. Page 81. Ufros aleinu sukat, sukat, shalomecha, ufros aleinu sukat, sukat, shalomecha. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Sukat, shalomecha. Ushmor tzeitenu voenu l'chaim u'l'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai. Haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei Teitel ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 85. Ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושם שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We remain standing in spirit or in body, risen up for the silent Amidah, beginning on page 91 in the traditional liturgy. On page 89, the Shviti, the visual meditation created by Betsy Teutsch, poetry preceding the traditional liturgy, and meditations that can be found beginning on page 725. I want to invite you to enter this space of silent prayer, though together, also independently, in whatever way you feel called to be in that space of silence tonight, through traditional words of prayer, poetry, meditation, drawing, journaling, coloring, reaching out to a loved one with a message of Shabbat Shalom, whatever it is you need in this time of silence for reflection and connection to the divine and to the divine in each and every one of us. We enter the Amidah together on page 91. Ananana Adonai, Ananana Sfatai Tiftach, Ananana Ufi Yagid, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ananana Adonai, Ananana Sfatai Tiftach, Ananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ananana Adonai, Ananana Sfatai Tiftach, Ananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. A kavanah, an intention at the bottom of page 104. God is shalom. God's name is shalom. Everything is held together by shalom. The words of the mystical text, the mystical Jewish text, the Zohar. My God, you are salam, peace. Peace comes from you and goes back to you. Let us live in peace and with peace. You are great and generous. The words of Sidi Sheikh Mohammed Al-Jamal. Peace, shalom, salam. Shalom, 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 shalom. Shabbat shalom. As we gather back together out of our space of the silent Amidah, we take a moment to welcome those who we didn't get a chance to welcome back during Kabbalat Shabbat. I think we went all the way up through Rich. Shabbat shalom to Mindy, who's joining us from the Bay Area. And Shabbat shalom to Wendy and John and Lucy. Taco, you are not the only puppy here tonight at services. Lucy and Taco, both of you are here. Shabbat shalom to John and to all of you down there in Athens, Georgia. And Shabbat shalom to everyone who hasn't gotten a chance yet to introduce yourselves in the chat. It is such a pleasure to be here all together. I often take this moment to welcome folks again after the silent Amidah and our prayer for peace, because it's the moment that we also gather for our Mishaberach Lecholim, our prayer for healing and wholeness. And it's something, it could indeed be a new trend of pets joining in for Shabbat services. Pets are always and especially welcome at services these days as we meet online and we don't have to worry about people barking at each other or cats hissing at each other or trying to eat the goldfish. We are very, very multi-species friendly during the COVID-19 pandemic. But seriously, no, this is one of the moments in our service, our Mishaberach Lecholim, our prayer for healing, when we get kind of the most communal. Not only do we sing this prayer traditionally during our Torah service, which of course is Saturday mornings, and then during the week as well in communities that read Torah during the week on Saturday afternoons and Mondays and Thursdays, but also on Friday nights, because even though we are not in the midst of a Torah service, we are here in the midst of sacred community. And that's the time when we not only get to name all of those people for whom we're thinking, or of whom we're thinking for healing and wholeness, but also we get to announce to everyone who's here, all of the people who are in our families, in our concentric circles of community, who are in need of a little bit of support. Not only because we are supporting them, but perhaps to spread the knowledge that there are people whose mutual friends need help, need some support, need an extra phone call or a text message, need some chicken soup, whatever that thing is, that will bring a little bit of healing to them. And so we do that in community. Another thing that we don't do alone in our homes, but rather only when we gather in community. And so I want to invite you, in addition to the list of names that I'll read, that is our congregational Mishaberach list, I want to invite you to share in the chat the names as you're comfortable of anyone you're thinking of for healing tonight, so that we can call them all to our hearts and center our attention around them as we sing our Mishaberach Lecholim. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. And this evening we're thinking of and sending our hopes and our energies for healing and wholeness. To Andrea Abrams Herbert, Roberta Archibald, Arden Bell, Carol Mueller-Bell, Ruth Belzer, Rabbi Deborah Bowen, Sarah Sarulnik, Bill Conrad, Bob Cooper, Robin Cupo, Francesca Dever, Eric Gershman, Jonathan Giannini, George and Gail Glansberg, Hal Goodman, Talia Gottesman, Amy Gross, Alberta Hall, Cordula Hamish, Peter and Janelle Hoagland, Chava Hurley, Teresa Jararski, Michelle Kalish, Sharon Cass, Beverly and Howard Kaufman, Fran Kaufman, Elsie Lieberstein, Len McEwen, Elisa Jean Hunter and Nora Mosley, Robert Mueller, Anthony Nero, Lisa Nicholson, Stan Pollock, Abby Rosenberg, Mike Rosenberg, Shelley Sanders, Willie Schneer, Bertha Schwartz, Margaret Steiber, Ellen Stewerman, Lloyd Suter, Jeff Taylor, Lynn Van Engel, Isabel Vita, Stan Weckstein, Millie Weissman, Grace Zangwill, Sonia Frischkin Zangwill, and Eileen Zeff, and Doug Proudman, Rob Johnson, Mike Garst, Aaron Kaufman, Jared Ben Haram, Eric Griffin Shelley, Brian S., who has COVID, Phyllis Tauberg, Sue and Dennis Courtwright, Ann Lefko, Dorothy Berlin, Nancy Catelli, Itzik Mandelbrod, Bella Mandelbrod, Florence Weinstein, Dorothy Lyons, Kenny Gorelick, all of those recovering from COVID, our country that needs healing, Lauren Vandeveer, all of our prayers for a peaceful transition of power. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. We turn from our prayer for healing and wholeness to our Kiddush, our prayer where our cup overflows with sweetness and joy as we sanctify the day of Shabbat, and we also celebrate all of the joyful things that we all have going on perhaps in our lives. And it is both this tension and also this beautiful continuum between prayers for healing and blessings of joy that makes community, I think, so sweet and so powerful. That we gather together in moments that are hard, and we gather together in moments that are so sweet that they ease even the greatest difficulty. And so if there's something that you're celebrating this week, whether it's a birthday, an anniversary, a new job, some sort of a transition, something new published, a new accomplishment or learning, please take a moment to share it in the chat as we raise our glass for Kiddush and in a l'chaim for all the things in our community that we are celebrating this week. Also, is there someone who wants to help with Kiddush tonight? We have a Kiddush helper coming in just a moment. And Kiddush is on page 119, and we rise in spirit or in body. Kiddush helper, come on down. Not only does this mean that Bina gets to have some yummy grape juice, but it also means that she gets to stand on a chair, which she never gets to do other times during the week. Shabbat is indeed a special time of the week. Want to hold this with two hands? Mm-hmm. Okay. Savri Chavirai.
L'chaim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Two hands.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. Two hands. V'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי אלינו קראת ואותנו קידשת לעבודתך, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen.
L'chaim! How's the grape juice tonight?
Good.
It's sparkly grape juice tonight. Here, hop down and then you can have some more.
I don't want it.
You don't want any more? Okay, that's more for Ima. We turn the page to page 121 for Aleinu.
Did you feed it?
Oh, and we give a big L'chaim shout out. Happy birthday to John, who shares a birthday with Dr. King today, January 15th. Happy birthday, Yom Huledet Sameach. L'chaim. Page 121, Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'teit gedula le'otzer breshit, shenatan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notei shamayim v'yosed haaretz u'moshe v'garosh. ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. As we turn to page 131 for Mourner's Kaddish, we also turn in our hearts and our memories to those whom we've loved and lost in recent days and weeks in the past month. We're still in the period of Shloshim, the month following the passing of Ira Stephen Ringel, brother of Manny Ringel, brother-in-law of Gloria, and also those whom we lost at this time in years past. And tonight, if there's someone you're remembering or reciting Kaddish for, I want to invite you to put their name in the chat so that we can call them all to memory. This week at Or Hadash, we are marking the yortzites of Ray Epstein, father of Susan Driver, George Marlowe, father of Jeffrey Marlowe, Adele Raisman, mother of David Raisman, Edward Alberts, father of Robert Goldberg Alberts, Lisa Gardner, wife of Charles Gardner, Bernie Roman, grandfather of Jeff Roman, Rose Barron, aunt of Stephanie Zangwill, Edith Harrison, mother of Sharon Apple, Mitchell Burns, father of Stephen Burns, Ruth Joseph, mother of Janet Karp, Michael Silber, cousin of Rhoda Gansler, Selma Willits, mother of Gloria Ringel. We also say Kaddish for all of those who have no one else to say Kaddish for them. And we especially this Shabbat of Martin Luther King Day say Kaddish for all of those who in the past 11 months have lost their lives at the hands of those who were sworn to protect them. All of those folks, especially folks with black or brown skin who have been who have died because of police brutality and over-policing in our country. We will, in our closing song tonight, be able to read all of their names, but we think of them all tonight, and we say Kaddish as we invite those who are in mourning to rise in spirit or in body for Mourner's Kaddish on page 131, along with all of those whose tradition it is to rise for Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemeh rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabam mevorach leolam ulamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemeh dekudsha brichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael. Ve'el kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. We also add to our list tonight for Kaddish Yossi Pesach, uncle of Dan Schwartz, and all of those who've passed from COVID-19. We say Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be a blessing for all of us. And Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Before we close tonight in song, a few brief announcements. First of all, Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to be here with everyone tonight from literally across our country and across our Or Hadash community. What a blessing it is to be here in community. If you want to learn more about Or Hadash, you can visit our website, www.orhadash.com, or contact Nadine, our synagogue administrator, at office@orhadash.com. You can also, on our website, sign up for our HaKesher newsletter. HaKesher means the connection. And we know that in these times, connection is sometimes so hard to see. And also we know that it is only one click away. And so may we all connect at services, at programming, as we join together in moments of celebration, in moments of difficulty, and in learning, in all of these many, many ways that we are connecting and joining together the little beads that are each of our homes into one long strand of community. This weekend, Shabbat services tomorrow morning are a little bit different. 3 times a year, we have a very exciting and cool intergenerational Shabbat morning of learning and services and exciting experiential Shabbosing. Shabbat B'Yachad is tomorrow morning, starting with Torah study at 9 o'clock. Services will actually start somewhere between 9:45 and 10. And it's going to be a really wonderful morning. We're going to join together on Zoom. So please check your daily links, emails, if you receive the daily links, if you're a member of the community, or if you are a digital subscriber. If you don't yet receive our daily links email and want to, also contact Nadine in our office at office@orhadash.com to learn more about how to become a digital subscriber of Or Hadash, which is a new membership category this year that is open to all of those who are joining us from afar, who are outside of the Philadelphia area and have become part of our Or Hadash community this year, including John. It is so great to see you every single week. I can't wait until the time when we actually get to meet in person, either in Philadelphia or in Georgia. It's going to be really exciting. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday is observed on Monday, and our MLK Day of Service is happening via Zoom, and it's in partnership with Camp Galil this year. There are bags in the solarium at Or Hadash to pick up with materials for some of our hands-on service projects. There's also going to be a community dialogue about Black Lives Matter and ways to support racial justice and be actively anti-racist, both within our Or Hadash community and looking outward from our Or Hadash community, as well as hands-on service projects and experiential learning, both led by our own teachers at Or Hadash and by the incredible year-round staff from Camp Galil. Also, next weekend on the 24th, Dan Schwartz can let you know more if you reach out to him in the chat about our QPR training. It's a suicide prevention training that we are very proud to be co-hosting, or rather that we are proud to be hosting at Or Hadash for members of our community and for the wider community. So please, there's more information on our website about that. That's on the 24th. And also Shabbat morning, January 30th, 2 Shabbatot from now, is our rabbinic installation, where I will be officially installed as the rabbi at Or Hadash. And if you are a local member of the congregation, you can head on over to Or Hadash and grab a green goodie bag with printed out copies of Tu B'Shvat Seder resources, a recipe that we can all make together for oneg, a list of things to make sure that you have for that service, and all kinds of nice goodies. If you are an Or Hadash member from afar, we will be sending out by email, or we can send you by email if you're not yet a member and you want to learn more and join us that day. All of the materials that are inside of the bag, we can send them to you via email as a PDF. And so before we say Shabbat Shalom, we're going to end in song, and in honor of Dr. King's birthday, and the important work that we must all still do ongoing to ensure that that we work to dismantle and call out and rebuild better all of the systems of injustice and oppression that are in our country, that we name and face our own legacy and our own history of enslavement in this country, and being perpetrators of enslavement for those of us who have white skin and those who still reap the benefits from that legacy, and in honor of making sure that all of us are visible and all of our voices are heard. Tonight, our closing song will not be sung by me. Rather, I want to share Lift Every Voice and Sing, the Black National Anthem, as sung and performed by the Stanford Talisman Alumni Virtual Choir.
Civil rights activist James Weldon Johnson wrote Lift Every Voice and Sing as a poem, which was set to music by his brother John Roseman Johnson in 1899. The song is now known as the Black National Anthem in America. It is a protest, a hymn, and a prayer of profound significance for our people. We lift every voice and sing to express ourselves. We lift every voice to show that we have strength in numbers and we will not be silent. We lift every voice and sing to be lifted, liberated, and free.
Freedom, the power to determine action without restraint. Freedom, the absence of or release from ties, obligations, or restrictions. Freedom, the ease or facility of movement or action. Freedom, frankness or boldness in manner or speech. Freedom, a political right. Until we are all free, none of us is free. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoice to the place. Come to our Father's side. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughter. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright story stands. God of our weary ears, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we praise. Oh, let's not be straight from what God where we hearts drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
Shabbat Shalom. And have a wonderful weekend. I look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow or on Monday or throughout this week, the next few weeks. Shabbat Shalom from our home to your home. Want to be on for a sec?
No, that's okay.
Oh, okay. No, maybe. Shabbat Shalom. See you all next week.